Welcome back to the capsON Sports Podcast. My name is Tyler Blumenstick, joined by Nick Tobias, Sam Meehan, and Anthony Mano. We're back for the 2021-2022 NFL season. This is actually year 3 of the capsON Sports Podcast. Started off with our good friend Michael Britton in Sam's seat. Now we've had Sam. This is Sam's second year, and we're going to keep it that way because this is a very solid squad. So this episode, we're going to be doing win totals, and next week we're going to be doing win totals. Then we're going to do props, player awards, stuff like that. Then get back into the nice weekly stuff that we normally do. How you guys doing? Glad to be back.
Dick, dude, what's going on, man?
They were patiently awaiting me to screw up the intro because I did it once before, but it's all good.
That's true. I set the over-under at 2.5, and it was under.
I'm proud of you.
Well, it's true.
Sammy, what's going on? Sammy Sprinkles, buddy. How have you been? How's your summer been, bud?
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah, you've been living it up?
Oh, yeah, of course. Great time.
All right. Good. That's nice. Good word. There it is. Let's go. What you got for me, Stick? What are we doing
Should we just
today?
dive into it? Should we do that right now?
What you got? What we getting into today, buddy?
We are getting into the AFC win totals set by Vegas. I don't really know which book these are from. I got them from a CBS Sports article that compiled everything to make my life a little bit easier. But today we're going to go through the AFC. Next episode, we're going to do the NFC. Then we're going to do the props and player awards.
Props. Yep.
Alrighty, let's kick it off here. I have the wrong tab up, but we're going to start with the Miami Dolphins. Win total set at 9. They had this year they have the sixth easiest schedule with a combined opponent win percentage of 47.1%. So got a lot of below 500 teams from last season on the schedule. I'm personally going to go over. I like the Dolphins. I think the addition of Will Fuller is going to be huge. Give Tua another option there. Tua is going to have a second year, even though he didn't really have a full first year. But yeah, I like the Dolphins to go over here because I'm not too high on the Jets, but it is a tough division if the Patriots are good, which I think they are, but we're going to get to that later.
I'm thinking the ease of schedule, at least for the Dolphins, is a little shaky because you look at last year and it was a down year for the Patriots, right? The Patriots are kind of known for just dominating that division and kind of, stomping over everybody in their path, right? Last year with Cam Newton having COVID and they had some opt-outs on the defense. Miami and Buffalo were really going to make that next step. And, like you said, the Jets get their quarterback of the future and Zach Wilson. I think Miami I think they stayed the same. Like you said, they got Will Fuller and they also drafted Jalen Waddle. The defense was stout last year. I think their win total at 9 is a little rough. It's a little high for me. I got to go under. I think the division improved. I don't think they did enough to get better. I'm not a big Tua guy, so I think that's where it stems from. But
yeah, I mean,
if he makes the leap, then this is going to be a dogfight in this division. We might see both wild card teams coming out of this division.
Yeah, I mean, I make it quick and easy. I'm not really a big Tua believer. I think he's had too many past injuries, and I credit Miami for putting a good offense around him, but I just don't think he's the answer there. And last year they were able to string together 10 wins, but I think that's a testament to Ryan Fitzpatrick and him kind of winning them at least 3-4 games coming in at the end. I just don't really believe in Tua, and I think 9 is a little high. And like Stick alluded in the beginning, I kind of believe in the Patriots a little bit more than I believe in the Dolphins this year. So I'm going to go under. I think it's going to be a very close call. I think Miami can surprise some teams and some leagues and stuff like that. But I'm staying away because I just don't trust Tua, and especially his health. What if he gets hurt? Who's their backup? I couldn't tell you.
I mean, allegedly Jacoby Brissett is a notable addition, which is just ridiculous that you put him up there. Like,
we all know who Jacoby Brissett is, so therefore I would say
okay. If that's like the
Jacoby Brissett's role been his whole career.
Not backup quarterback, but it's still a notable addition because we just brought it up. We said if Tua gets hurt, who's going to play quarterback? Good thing I put it there because we'd have silence on the podcast.
Would you rather have Fitzpatrick throwing that offense or Brissett throwing that offense?
100%, but we're going to get to Fitzpatrick next week.
Okay, go ahead.
We're going to see him actually on TV twice this year, which is good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have done everything. I'm going under as well. I don't trust Tua yet. Defense is good. I think I'm expecting to kind of regress a little bit this year, but yeah, it don't really impress me too much, especially with a better New England team and a very good Buffalo team.
It comes down to the division, like straight up.
Mhm.
If they're able to, split the series with the Bills, the Jets, the Patriots, then absolutely they can win 9 games. They can win more than 9 games. But like the Patriots always play the Dolphins well. The Jets always play the Dolphins well, and the Bills are one of the best teams in football, let alone the AFC East. So I'm excited to see this division. It's definitely one of the hotter ones in the league, but I think Miami falls a little bit short here.
Alrighty. So, man, you touched on the Bills there. We're going to move on to them. Keep going through the AFC East here. We have a 10.5 win total for the Buffalo Bills. Ease of schedule ranking, they have the 10th easiest schedule. Combined opponent win percentage of 47.8%. Notable additions, we have Emmanuel Sanders and Matt Breida. I think that makes them better. And I mean, with kind of like the Cole Beasley role, I feel like that's what Manny Sanders is going to fill. Probably do it better than Beasley did, even though Beasley was a PPR maniac. Guy would literally
Beasley's
get 7.
Still there.
Yeah, but like there's some hesitancy whether he's going to play or not because of the vaccine stuff. But I don't know. I don't want to get into that. But regardless, I mean, he's going to be able to step up should Beasley sit out, which he's alluding to. But I don't know. Breida has been a sneaky guy too. He was in that 3-headed backfield in San Francisco. Add him to the backfield here. Kind of give him a little bit of change of pace here, a speedster, and go off Devin Singletary as well. So that'd be pretty cool. I'm going under.
You going under, Stick?
Why?
Sorry, over.
You're going under or over 10.5?
I think when we filtered, this thing got messed up a little bit, but no, 10.5. I'm going.
I was gonna say, like, going under, you're nuts.
I'm going over.
So 2019, the Bills won 9 games. In 2019, the Bills won 6 games. 2018, it was 6 games. 2019, it was 10 games. Last year was 13. They're 10.5 this year with an extra game added to their schedule. I think they go over. I think they go 12-5 this year. I think they didn't. I mean, we're talking about the season. I'm not talking about Super Bowl contention. Super Bowl contention, they didn't do enough on the defensive side of the football to improve. They're relying too heavy on Tre'Davious White and Tremaine Edmonds. As much as I believe in both those two players, they didn't really show up last year. They showed some regression. So I think the Buffalo Bills helped Josh Allen out, which is nice considering they gave him a fat deal on the offensive side of the football. But I think the front office kind of failed, not giving the defensive side of the football a little bit of backup. So I think in the long run this year, I think they're going to fall short, but I think over 10.5. I give them 11, 12 wins this year easy, just based on their offense.
Yeah, this is going to be another lethal offensive year for Buffalo, and I think even last year their defense, I think, more underperformed where they could be. I think they should be a better unit this year all around. And looking at the schedule, there's only 2 games I see where I see them definitely losing, which is at Tampa and at KC. And then the rest are very winnable games for them. So I think 11 and 12 wins should be easy for this Buffalo squad.
Yeah, I got to go over too. They're one of the best teams in the AFC, right? So to put their win total at 10.5, I mean, to me, like I would be insulted if I was in the Bills locker room and I saw that. I feel like they probably believe, and I believe on their behalf, that they're a Super Bowl contender. Mm-hmm. Just obviously early in the preseason here, but barring any injuries, you expect Josh Allen to take another step forward as he's done in the past. You expect that you expect that offense to keep up with their consistency. And, you guys touched on the defense, but I'm not too worried about it. 2 years ago now, this was one of the better defenses, and I'm willing to throw out last year and a COVID year and, whatever protocols they had to go through. I'm willing to throw that out and maybe expect them to go back to 2019 form as opposed to 2020 form. So I think this one's easy over.
Alrighty, so there you have it, 4 overs for the Buffalo Bills. Let's move on to the New York Jets, who actually today lost Carl Lawson to a ACL, was it? For the Achilles.
Oh, unfortunate.
And that's big time for their defense. They were real. I mean, he's one of the most underrated pass rushers in this league, right? Carl Lawson. He kind of goes under the table because he's coming from Cincinnati, but like this is a dude that's bounced back from injuries in the past, but we're not talking about future, we're talking about now. So it's tough to really see that defense, being able to hold teams. They're getting CJ Mosley back as well. It's not listed in our notable additions, but he was hurt the first year and opted out last year. So refreshed CJ Mosley might be able to bring some life to that middle of the defense, but rookie Zach Wilson, new options on the offense. The coach is going to put them in the best position to win, but I don't think the talent at the moment is going to allow them to.
So I'm going to piggyback off of Mano, especially when it comes to talking about these newer-ish players on this football team. I think the Jets are trending in the right direction, but I think they're way too inexperienced to be consistent this year. And I think to get above 6 wins, you need to have a semi-consistent year, especially on the offensive side of the football. The Jets are going to have the 4th best head coach in the AFC East. Every coach I think in the AFC East is better than Rob Salah. I just think it's too inconsistent of a team. I think it's too inexperienced. I can't see Zach Wilson stringing together 3 wins back to back to back. I think the defense, when you lose a defender like that, it hurts. And I think Mosley not playing for 2 years, it also hurts. They played the Giants in preseason, and I know it's a preseason game, but it was whatever. I just think the Jets are a dud. I think they can keep games close, but I'm going to take under 6 wins this year. I think they're just an awful football team. Give them 2 or 3 years, they'll be in playoff contention, but not this year.
Yeah, it's everything Nick said. It's good.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not a big Zach Wilson guy. The schedule, only really 2 wins. I could see him with Houston and Cincinnati. Then a few games I think they could maybe steal, but even that's going to leave him at the most 4 or 5 wins. So, yeah, I think it's relatively easy under for me.
Alrighty, I'm going to go under as well, and ditto to everything everybody else said. I think they're an abysmal football team.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the New England Patriots. We have a win total of 9, the 13th easiest schedule. Opponent win percentage coming in at 48.9%. They added a dual threat tight end package of Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, which in Bill Belichick land sounds extremely, extremely dangerous. And that is the exact reason I'm going to go over 9 wins here for the New England Patriots. Admittedly, not a big Cam Newton fan, but Cam Newton has been proving me wrong lately, I guess. Especially tonight, even though it's preseason.
Let me ask you something before we move on, right? So their win total is at 9 right now.
Mm-hmm.
If before week 1, Bill Belichick comes out and he's like, we're gonna start Mac Jones as the week 1. Does that change for you? So you think 9 wins with Mac Jones with Cam Newton either way?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
I think
I'm almost more confident with Mac Jones.
I just think Cam Newton's at a part in his career where he can only really hang in the pocket, and the plays that he can make with his legs are the same plays that Mac Jones can make with his legs. I think Cam Newton's not done, but he's not it. But I don't think the quarterback play is really what makes a difference for the Patriots this year. I think they're getting back Donta Hightower, Patrick Chung on the defensive side of the ball after they opted out last year. There's a chance they could have a top 5 defense again in the NFL. And we've seen what Tom Brady's done with top 5 defenses. And I've seen highlights of Tom Brady just dinking and dunking when they're winning Super Bowls because his defense is so good. I think over 9 is an easy bet here. I like Bill Belichick and this team. And I think he finally has a team where he can be confident in who he's putting out there. And I think the Patriots are going to be pretty sneaky this year. And I personally do not care who's playing quarterback for the New England Patriots. And I think that Mac Jones probably plays about 5 or 6 games toward the end of this year because I think Cam Newton blows it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the New England schedule too, I think favors them, especially later second half of this season. A lot of their tougher games are at home, like New Orleans, Dallas, Cleveland, and Tennessee. Probably their 4 toughest, non-division games are all at home, which I think would benefit them. They can take 3 or 4 of those. And they're going back and forth with this over under, but Yeah, I think 9 actually would go over. So, despite who's playing quarterback, I'm almost more confident with Mac Jones. He's looked pretty solid so far. But if Cam Newton can stay healthy, I guess get back to close to form, they could be very dangerous. But I still think it's Buffalo's division. But New England could make some noise there.
I'm going over too, right? And I think, and the reason I asked the question, if you think the line would change if it was Mac Jones versus Cam Newton, is because I think if Mac Jones was named the starter today, I think I would go under, right? If Mac Jones was named the starter week 1, I think I would go under. But at least everything I've seen is going to be Cam Newton's job, and I'm I apparently a little more higher on Cam Newton than the rest of you guys, but. Last year he had COVID like going into the season, and like, say what you will, but it affects everybody differently. And he, I don't know if he looked, better or worse this year, but I think he gives you more versatility. And I think a second year in that program, they're going to figure out like, all right, this didn't work last year with Cam Newton. This will work this year. They're going to throw out what doesn't work, implement more of what does. I think Cam Newton has a bounce back year. Underrated fantasy option. If you're looking for a QB late, sneak in Cam Newton. Worst case scenario, he stinks and you chuck him out the window. But
I will not be taking him from you. I promise you that.
Hey man.
Yeah, it's all your 13th round. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I'll take the risk. Hell yeah, rushing option, fucking passing option. Hell yeah, their receivers worry me, right? So it's Cam Newton throwing to Jacoby Myers and N'Keal Harry, or is he throwing to Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry? You know what I mean?
Listen,
like,
it's not N'Keal Harry, it's Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers.
Whatever. It's whatever, irrelevant.
Listen, Kendrick
right?
Bourne's sneaky. Kendrick Bourne had a sneaky season last year, and I don't want people to forget about that. I think the Patriots are a lot better on offense than a lot of people think. And Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry are both hurt right now in the preseason, but I think Hunter Henry might be out a week or two at the end of the year. But I'm telling you, watch out for this offense. I think Belichick has his old school offense. He's got the same 2 tight ends when he had Hernandez and Gronk, and I think they're fine.
Right. I got to go over here. I'm a little higher on the Patriots this year than you guys, or at least Cam Newton.
Yeah, Cam Newton for sure. I don't see Cam Newton have anything left in the tank. But
moving on.
Yes,
yeah, let's move on to the next division.
All right, we're going to the AFC North here with the Cleveland Browns. 10-win total set here. They have the 24th easiest schedule, so I guess that's the 9th hardest schedule. Combined opponent win percentage of 51.8%. Notable additions: they brought in Jadeveon Clowney to play on the line with Myles Garrett.
Relevant.
Both of them actually banged up right now. And Malik Jackson, who I believe is in the secondary. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are correct. No, you are incorrect. He's a defensive tackle, but nice try.
All right, nice. All right, so regardless, clearly very
close enough.
Not very notable. Although I would argue that Jacoby Brissett is more notable than Malik Jackson. Nonetheless, I'm going to go over here because I am not high on this division whatsoever. That's really it. I think the Ravens are really the only threat here. The Browns have shown that they can put up points and have also shown that they can play defense, although honestly more on the running game side and kind of slowing down the game, but they do get in shootouts, so I guess that point doesn't really hold up. But regardless, I don't like the Bengals. I think the Steelers are going to have a down year, but we'll get to those guys later. But definitely going to go over here. I think they can go 11-6 and pump this in.
Cleveland will win 13 games and win the AFC North.
Yes, thank you. Say it before I do. Sam.
They are going to be a wagon this year.
Thank you.
I mean, I think that I don't see them winning week 1. They're at Kansas City, but I think they're going to give a hell of a fight. And then I think if they can split Baltimore, the rest of their schedule is winnable games. They have a tough game. They have a tough game late in the season at Green Bay, but other than that, a favorable schedule for them, and there's so many weapons on offense. Defense looks good. If they stay healthy, they're going to be very dangerous.
Okay, so you didn't highlight. I mean, I'm going over. I think I have my prediction for them as 13-4 this year as well. I think they win 13 games. I think they win the AFC North with ease, and I think they're an easy playoff team. And I think they're in the AFC Championship. I love this team a lot. I think the Browns are back. I'm on the Browns bandwagon this year. The key additions that we forgot to mention: John Johnson III. Okay, they stole him from the LA Rams in the secondary, so pair him with Denzel Ward back there. They also signed Takkarist McKinley, defensive rushing from Atlanta. So let's just add to the front four that they have now and just throw people at your face. And you already mentioned their offense. You got OBJ coming off a torn ACL. Granted, it's a torn ACL, and granted, it's not prime time OBJ, but it's still OBJ nonetheless. I think the Browns have finally found their pairing between head coach and quarterback, between Baker and Stefanski. Chubb is a monster. Kareem Hunt can't really do what we all thought he could do, but he can absolutely play the number 2. Forget about it. I think this team is a wagon, like Sam said, and I'm going to ride them all season. I'm probably going to take them the first game against the Chiefs. I think they have the power to do so.
I'm kind of stuck. I'm not going to lie. I'm not. I'm not a. I don't love. I love the team that they put around, right? Like you said, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, the fucking two-headed monster. Excuse me, a two-headed monster with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. A really solid offensive line that they've invested in. Like you said, this year was really like we figured out the defense, or we figured out the offense. Let's throw in some wrinkles, in the following years, but we really need to figure out the defense. But I gotta go under. To me, this comes down to how good is Baker Mayfield. It's last year, it felt like how good can Kevin Stefanski make Baker Mayfield, right? And if they continue to do that, and just kind of keep him on a linear path, what you see from Baker Mayfield is what you're going to get, kind of deal. A slightly above average, I'll give it to above average quarterback play, with masterful offensive line, masterful wide receivers, and great play calling all around. But to me, to win this division with Baltimore, and I like Pittsburgh more than everybody else apparently. I think you need to do more. I think your play actions, your bootlegs, your RPOs are all nice and dandy, but can Baker Mayfield sit under center, drop back 3 steps, throw a deep ball to Odell Beckham? Can he throw a slant to Jarvis Landry, when it's, double covered and stuff like that? I think you need to see Baker Mayfield take that next step, but I don't think they're prepared for Baker Mayfield to take that next step. I think they're going to keep it consistent. And when you keep things consistent, especially with the talent in this division and the coaching staff, they're going to figure it out. Harbaugh is going to figure it out. Tomlin's going to figure it out. I don't know who the defensive coordinator is in Cincy, but he probably won't figure it out. But it's the second year of the same stuff. I need to see more from Baker Mayfield in addition to more from Kevin Stefanski. I don't know if Baker has it in him. I got to go under.
You need to see more. What have they not showed you over the past couple of years?
I just need to see more from Baker. I don't need to see the offense. I don't need to see the RPOs. And I don't need to see the play actions anymore. Because eventually, if you keep doing that time after time after time after time after time after time, somebody's going to figure it out, right?
That's fine. They have a good running game.
Yeah, but you don't need a run. You don't need a running back for play. You don't need a running game for play action.
Fine. Then you dink and dunk to Austin Hooper.
What kind of timeout? Let's just pause this.
You don't need a running back. You don't need a running back for play action. I'm telling you right now. You don't need a running. You don't need a good running back for play action.
That's the whole point of
play action. Back for play action. No.
You're telling me a top 5 running back in Nick Chubb when you're going to fake handoff to that guy as opposed to Giovanni Bernard isn't going to do anything?
Look at the numbers. It's irrelevant.
I'm not talking about numbers. I'm talking about
I'm talking the numbers that are influencing what you're saying right now. I'm telling you right now it's irrelevant.
Where are your numbers? Where are your numbers?
Listen. I can pull them up, but you don't need a running back to sell play action. Right, you don't need to establish the run to establish a play action. That's just it's football's greatest myth. And I've come around and seen the light, right? So I used to be a running back guy, not a running back guy anymore. So I need to see more. I need to see more from Baker Mayfield. Can he do it? Maybe. I just want to see it. I got to go under. The stank of Cleveland is still omnipresent in my mind.
You're gonna get burned. You're gonna get burned going
That's
like
fine.
this.
I'll live with it. Live with it.
I love the Brownies this year, baby. Oh man,
Huge on the Browns.
They played in a lot of close games last year, and a lot of close games were due to the poor weather. And a lot of the reason Baker Mayfield
right.
stats might not be that good is because they got a lot of bad weather games at home, and it's Cleveland, and they can't change what they're doing at home. So a lot of the times they're forced to run the ball because you have no – what's Baker Mayfield going to do than throw a 3-yard –
And I think they were better because they ran the ball. I think they were better because they had talent to shove the ball down the other team's throat. But like, I don't think it's sustainable. I need to see more from Baker Mayfield.
14 points a game. What's going to happen?
Well, then, shit, if your defense gives you 14, if your defense fucking lets up 14 points a game, then you, me, and my mother can go and score fucking 17 points on a defense. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll go under here, but Stick, I would like to note, because we're going on to Cincinnati here, and I would assume everybody's going under. You put Eli Apple as a notable addition.
Yeah.
Dude,
how dare you?
I'm going to say one thing, and I'm going to say it once.
You couldn't put like Jamar Chase. You have to put Eli Apple.
If I wasn't the world's laziest video editor, I would put a screenshot of Nick putting in the chat, "Hey, Stick, can you make the Google Doc? I'll add to it." I made the Google Doc. Did anything get added to it? Or redacted, I guess, because you guys have a problem with the stuff I did put on there? No, you didn't. So stop.
All right, listen.
Okay.
Because you have Eli Apple there, I'm going to go under because I know Eli Apple can't cover he can't cover a sandwich with aluminum at this point.
He's like Janoris Jenkins. They can't cover anybody.
Yeah, well, at least Janoris Jenkins kind of is in the right place. Sometimes
He had one pretty good year.
Yeah, Janoris Jenkins had 11 interceptions one year. That's pretty. He was an All-Pro with the Giants in 20 whatever.
I think it was 2016 when they.
Bro, sometimes you just get lucky. You just get lucky. You know what?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think Eli Apple's getting lucky. Listen.
All right, Stick. What do you got to say about Cincinnati since Eli Apple's the key addition right
They
here?
stink, and then
Dude, I didn't say
under.
All-Pro
and Trey Waynes
Super Bowl
is
MVP.
your defense.
Say it again.
Can we just move on? Just hard under.
I'm going under. I don't want to talk about this. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's a hard under, and I think it's a shame because I think if they draft Penny Sewell, it's probably a different.
It'd be more of a conversation, but I would probably still go under. But they'd be.
I don't know.
Maybe 6-11, where I think this season they go 3-14.
Joe Burrow is effectively a rookie. He didn't have a full season under his belt, and he definitely didn't have it in a good system, and he's definitely not in a good system right now. So.
No, and he's definitely going to be scared. He's going to tear his ACL again since he's got no protection.
On paper, this is a good young team, but they
have some pieces, but
they have a good young offense.
They're not close.
That's a good correction, Nick. I agree. The defense is the worst adjective you could think of.
Bengals, they let long-time great all-time legend backup who's going to come in and give you 25 fantasy points when Joe Mixon gets hurt. Giovanni Bernard is now off of that football team. And they replaced Giovanni Bernard with Samaje Perine. Does that do anything for you? No, they lost John Ross.
I put him in notable additions.
You could absolutely put Samaje Perine in notable additions. They also signed Trey Hendrickson off of the New Orleans Saints team. Trey Hendrickson's actually a pretty good defender. He's a good edge rusher, but they don't have any. 16
sacks, and I don't think any of them were notable. I think everybody hits Trey Hendrickson. Hey, 16 sacks are 16 sacks, man. But if everybody's your sacks were shit, then I don't know what to. Who am I to argue?
I'm not arguing that the Bengals are good because they are not good, and this is going to be an awful season. I feel bad for Joey Buckets because Joey Buckets is a nice football player.
I think they'll be in games, though. I think that offense is more than capable.
Maybe a couple.
Oh, they'll play. They'll show up.
We're not talking about it.
They'll definitely play
about
football.
Record ATS. We'd be a different.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
But we're talking about straight up wins losses. They're not going to win shit.
No.
Alrighty. Should we get to the good stuff? The meat and potatoes of the North.
Oh yeah.
All right, Baltimore Ravens win total at 11. They have the second hardest schedule out of all teams in the NFL. Their opponents have a 56.3% win percentage from last year. They added, and I'm going to say him first, Sammy Watkins is a notable addition. They need receivers. Sure. They really need receivers.
Why can't you put Rashad Bateman on there at least? I mean,
I didn't really get too deep into the rookies here. I figured they'd come up eventually. I really only put quarterbacks and Kyle Pitts, which you guys will hear about next week. But also a notable addition because they need offensive line play is going to be Kevin Zeitler. Not super notable. Used to be a Giant. If he doesn't deserve to be on the Giants' offensive line, I'm not sure he deserves to be on any line in the NFL.
That's a very good point.
It's a very good point. It's very valid.
He's a good run blocker, and that's what they want to do. They want to run the football.
This is true. The Giants didn't have a running back, and they're finally getting him back. Hopefully he stays healthy. But yeah, I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, it's tough. Why do you think under, Stick? Do you not believe in Lamar J?
One, not really.
Regular season god.
They have a tough schedule.
I don't care. Like, with their schedule, yeah, it's very tough. But look at their toughest games this season: Kansas City, Indy, Chargers is out of division.
Is everybody playing Kansas City this week or this year?
Yes, they all play. Kansas City is playing all 31 teams, including 32, including themselves. But
they're playing themselves too. That's why
their toughest games are all going to be at home, and if they can, they're going to have a tough place to play, like Green Bay, Chargers, Indy, KC. So that's probably their 4 toughest out of conference game or out of division games, all at home. Split those, take care of business. Give it against the Bengals. Split the other 2 in the division. They'll get the 11 wins. Easy.
Well, personally, I don't believe in the Ravens passing game. I think they did the Ravens did what they could to get a passing game. I actually have the Ravens at 11-6 this year. So if I have to go over and under, I'm going to say under because I'm higher on the Browns. I think Lamar Jackson has a similar season to last year where he started off slow, picked up a little bit, started off slow, picked up a little bit. I mean, I can't even tell you what's going on in the backfield between J.K. Dobbins. They just signed Gus Edwards to a pretty fat contract as a backup running back, which doesn't really make any sense. I think the Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews connection isn't going to go anywhere, but you have Bateman, he showed off pretty well in preseason. I'm not to go off on a tangent, but right now, what's today? Thursday the 19th. Right now, the Baltimore Ravens have won 18 straight preseason games. If they win 19 straight, they tie the record. Okay, with the Green Bay Packers, I think 2003 or 1993 is someone ending in a 3. So Jim Harbaugh don't play around. Anyway, I'm gonna go under only because I like the Brownies more. I love the Brownies. I love the Brownies this year. I just love the Brownies. I don't know.
I like the over.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
I agree that they need wide receivers, right? In the past, they have been plagued with, injuries. They got Marquise Hollywood Brown. Was it now? That's got to be like 2 years ago now, right? And he's just kind of been just another guy in that room, right?
He's just there. He's just
not what he was doing at Oklahoma. Right. When he was in college, right? I'm hoping they, with Sammy Watkins and Bateman, I don't know. Do they still have Willie Snead?
No.
Maybe?
Who cares?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping they let Lamar Jackson throw like a deep ball more. While he might not have the accuracy like short and medium, like he throws a really nice deep ball. Like that's always been his thing. Even at Louisville, he was uncorking, 45-yard shots. So like Sammy Watkins isn't really known for being that, take the top off the defense kind of guy, but like that's kind of what he's done his entire career. Like when you look at it, I think it's an underrated addition. I don't think it's like, Broadway spectacle. Like look at freaking Lamar Jackson and Sammy Watkins, best 1-2 combo in the league. I don't think it's that, but like, I think it's marginally better than, what they've had. This is one of the best coach teams in the league. They've been who they are for the past 3 years. I don't see that changing. Give me the over here. Give me the over.
All right. Moving on. Pittsburgh Steelers. They are coming in with a 9-win total. They have the hardest schedule in the league at 57.4% from their combined opponents of 2020. I actually don't have any notable additions here, but we could throw Najee Harris in there.
Yeah, well, I guess notable additions is Najee Harris for the draft and Juju Smith-Schuster re-signing him, because losing him in free agency would have been horrific. Because I think you're talking about, what'd you say, the hardest schedule in the NFL?
Yeah, they have the hardest schedule.
Okay, and you also have Big Ben coming off of Tommy John surgery and an awful season last year.
She's also 8,000 years old and
I was going to say,
can barely move.
Put him in the Museum of National History right now because he doesn't belong out there on the football field. Just put him in bronze and put him out in the front of the stadium and just say this is one of the best quarterbacks. Anyway, I think Big Ben is done. I don't think Big Ben can throw the ball past 10 yards. Can throw accurately further than 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. He leaned up this year, and everybody saw it in spring training and OTAs. But personally, I do not think that matters. I think Najee Harris gets a ginormous workload. I mean, if you're talking fantasy football right now, I mean, I'm all in on Najee because regardless of how bad that offensive line is, I think the workload for Najee is going to be so big through the ground and through the air, it doesn't matter. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is not going to be a factor this year. Claypool might have a decent year. They have no tight end. You couldn't even tell me who the tight end is because they don't have Vance McDonald and they don't have Jesse James. So go ahead
I
and tell me
beg to differ there, Nick. They have Eric Ebron and Pat Fryermuth from Penn State. So
Firemouth.
Okay.
That's a pretty solid double.
Solid.
I mean, Ebron is an absolute outcast. He was at Detroit. They didn't want him at Detroit. He goes to Indy. He doesn't do anything in Indy. What did he do last year? Nothing.
He led the league in touchdowns when he was in Indy.
Come on, Nick. Come on.
Figure it out.
Then why did they let him go? Then why would Indy rather have Mo Alley Cox than Eric Ebron?
Because that dude's like 6'9.5". That dude's a monster.
He is Mo Alley.
That dude's a unit.
A massive.
That dude's massive.
I'll give Pittsburgh
basketball. I'm pretty sure
he is. He's huge. I'll give Pittsburgh benefit of the doubt with their defense and their head coaching. They're going to have an advantage of most people. I just do not see them winning. Would we have them at over under 9? I have them winning 7 games this year. Sorry, Pittsburgh.
I'm actually going to change here. I'm going to throw in an over. I think they win 10 games.
I'm having a hard time finding 10 wins in here.
Thank you.
I think 9 and 8 is their ceiling, but with Ben, he's not knocking him. He's had a great career, but he's got to know when hanging up.
Get last year, dude. How lucky did they get last year, winning what?
Yeah, really.
13 games straight, whatever.
Yes, their defense is very solid, but I'm seeing too many tough games on the road for them, and Cleveland and Baltimore are both going to be very good. I could see him losing 3 or 4 games to those two teams, and then Buffalo, Green Bay, Kansas City, all on the road. They're going to have a tough time getting to 9-10 wins, so I'm going to stay under.
I like the over.
Fools.
I don't think you accidentally win 13 games. I don't think you.
You could.
I don't think you luck into 13. They were undefeated going until it was like 12.
Yeah, and then look what happened after that. They're like, okay, these guys actually stink.
All right. Well, it took 12 weeks for somebody to figure that out.
The Steelers were 7-2 in 1-score games last year, and usually 1-score games, winning those games 9 times out of 10 luck.
For sure. I mean, they've fired. Well, they didn't fire. They didn't renew their offensive coordinator's contract. Randy Fichtner, something like that. Anyways, they promoted Matt Canada, right? And what Matt Canada, great name, is known for is kind of motion offense. And I think that's kind of what this – when you have a quarterback that's going to stand in the pocket like Ben Roethlisberger does, at least make everything around him confusing, right? If the quarterback is going to stand there like a bronze statue in front of Heinz Field, right, at least let everything else around him be dynamic, right? The only concern that I have, one of the concerns that I have is that they have one of the worst offensive lines in football, right? And if they have one of the worst offensive lines in football and one of the oldest quarterback,
incredibly immobile quarterback.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, what has Ben Roethlisberger done in the past? He gets hit and he still stands there. Right. So, I mean, at the very least, I think he can do that. And he gets rid of the ball faster than like almost any other quarterback in the league. So I think the offense is going to be better than what a lot of people are making it out to be, because it's going to be more dynamic, even if your quarterback isn't. There's going to be more pre-snap motion. There's going to be more dynamic routes. I think they have some of the most versatile wide receivers in the league between Juju Smith-Schuster, who can get you over the top and, underneath, screenplay, take them long. They have Chase Claypool, who's going to take the top off and he's going to jump over you at whatever, how tall he is, 6'3", 6'4", whatever. With his
hand the
speed.
ball off too to Chase Claypool.
Yeah,
Hand the
yeah.
ball off to him.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, Najee Harris has been one of the best college running backs, when he was at Alabama. He's an absolute bruiser. Like, that wears down your defense. If you're tackling your bruiser and you're running around in zone or man trying to track down your wide receiver as he comes across, it can get confusing. So it's not, reliance on Ben Roethlisberger for me going over. I think they're going to do the best they can to get the most out of Ben Roethlisberger, and I think that's good enough for at least 10 wins. But it remains to be it's shaky. But I'm not as high on the Browns, so I gotta get an over in there somewhere. So give me Pittsburgh, man. Consistency wins in the NFL.
Alrighty.
Oh, give me this team. Go ahead.
So that wraps up the North. Moving to the South now.
Nick's excited for the Colts.
We have the Indianapolis Colts, a win total of 10. They have the 9th easiest schedule, coming in at 47.8% here on the combined 2020 record. Notable additions: Carson Wentz in a trade from Philly.
Who breaks his feet? Who he just destroys his foot.
He'll be ready week 1 though.
He'll be fine.
That's what they say.
Supposedly.
Honestly, I kind of hope he's not ready for week 1.
So you'd rather see Sam Ehlinger or Jacob Eason?
Yes. I have really liked what I've seen out of, and I'm like a low key Colts fan. I've been a Colts fan ever since Peyton Manning was a quarterback there. He's been my favorite quarterback. He's my favorite quarterback of all time. So it's a Colts thing for me.
Is he the GOAT?
For me, he is the GOAT. He has the most passing touchdowns in history per season. Okay, he has 55 touchdowns in a season, and unless somebody breaks that record, I think he's the best single season quarterback in NFL history. Anyway,
that Denver season was dumb. That year he had in Denver was stupid.
Yes, it was
insane.
Does not make sense.
It was an absolutely crazy season, and good luck for anybody ever who wants to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think the Indianapolis Colts are going to be fine no matter who's playing quarterback. You're getting you have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, and you're getting a healthy Marlon Mack after sitting out a full year. Granted, it was a torn ACL. I couldn't even tell you who anybody else is on their tight end core besides Mo Cox, but
Jack Doyle.
Yes,
Jack Doyle still there?
Yeah.
Thank you. T.Y. Hilton, who's washed up, fine. You have a young. Okay, everybody else is young. Paris Campbell. You have what's his face from USC.
Michael Pittman
Jr. You have Zach Pascal and this guy Mike Strahan. It's his last name is Strahan, Strahan. You got to watch out for this dude. This dude's an absolute stud. Their defense is full of absolute studs. Okay, I think this team is going to be surprising. They are going to come out of the AFC South. I don't think Tennessee's going to be that good this year. I think Indy's going to be against the spread monster. I'm going to take them a lot. And like I said, I don't really care who's playing quarterback. I think I've watched both preseason games, or the first one from the Colts, and I've seen their highlights in practice. And Ehlinger is good, and Eason is good. They performed really well last week. I mean, granted, they were playing, the Carolina Panthers, and the Panthers don't really have a defense. But all you do is you look at them on the field, and you see the jazz factor. I think the Colts are in a good spot. I think that the team is excited to play around every quarterback they have, and give me the Indianapolis Colts, please. Give them to me.
I think if you look hard enough, you still might be able to find some Sam Ehlinger Heisman odds. That dude was top of the Heisman and then ended up at the bottom of the freaking list every single year he played college football. He's not good. I promise he's not good.
He doesn't have to be good. He just has to get wins.
Being good tend to help.
You got to be good to do that. So horns down. I'm with you. But
the 15-yard flag. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Listen,
sorry.
You're just giving me yards on the field. Keep moving me upfield. That's all it is right there.
I'm not big on. I'm not high on the Colts.
I love the Colts this year.
Even with Carson Wentz, I think Carson Wentz, the one year he was an MVP candidate. Look at every other year he had around that. He's been terrible. He's been abysmal. So you can tell me that he's getting better he's getting back with Frank Reich. Frank Reich was the reason he was good. I don't buy that crap. I think he was surrounded by really solid talent when he was in Philly, really put together an offense. Frank Reich put together an offense that was really suited for Carson Wentz with the weapons that they had, around him. I just don't think Carson Wentz is a good quarterback, right? I think, in fact, he is probably the worst quarterback that isn't a rookie and that isn't a like perennial backup that's just kind of like straggling around. But he can probably be in that category, perennial backup straggling around. He's probably the most overpaid quarterback in the league. I don't like Carson Wentz. I got to go under here. You're like you said, Nick. It's a good team, but like the quarterback's got to be the bell. Got to be the breadwinner, and I don't think Carson Wentz has that.
Even though they have even though they have a top 10 easy schedule, what if they play crappy defenses?
I don't care.
Okay.
I like the strength of schedule number. I just think once you get into it, I think it's irrelevant. I don't think you can base this year's performance on last year's experience, especially with a COVID year. But like that, I mean, to each their own. That's just how I'm basing it off of.
Okay.
I want to like the Colts, but I
really want to like the Colts too.
Yeah.
I think I still kind of do at 9.5 or 10, whatever you get it.
I think they go on a bit of a run.
I do think Wentz will be better this season, back with Reich. And I think the defense is elite and can carry them for, if Wentz isn't great every week. So, yeah, let's go over. Why not? I got nothing. It's not a very this is a very unconfident.
It's a tough number because you look at their division and their division is just full of question marks, right? The Jacksonville Jaguars just drafted a quarterback, right? So you don't expect them to be good, even though Trevor Lawrence is God's gift to the quarterback position. Texans have their own problems with a quarter, whatever you want to say about Deshaun Watson. And the Tennessee Titans last year were just one of the teams that were just kind of like, they were good, but they weren't, but everybody it's similar to the Steelers. Everyone looked at them and were like, yeah, this team is good, but like, yeah, it's probably not that good. But I'm sorry. I'm ranting. Go ahead.
Give me an over under, buddy.
Well, I already
did. I already picked under.
I'm going over here on the Colts.
Tell me why.
Yes, sir.
Look around the division. I think the Jaguars are bad. I think the Texans are bad, and the Tennessee Titans have no defense at all.
Can't stop a nosebleed.
No defense. I don't care that they have Julio Jones on offense. They don't have a defense, and that's going to catch up because you take Atlanta's offense, which is arguably not awful, and they still didn't win games.
Solid.
Then you turn this the other way. Obviously, you got Derrick Henry in the backfield. It's a much better offense than anything Atlanta's had in the past. But just adding Julio Jones is not going to be enough to just get this team over a hump without addressing the defense. And, yeah, I just think the Colts are going to feast in division. They don't have a hard schedule whatsoever. Over. Yeah, I think it's possible.
All right,
let's move on.
They were speaking. Mano hit on the bad teams before. So I guess we're rolling to Jacksonville.
I think so. So the win total set at 6. They are smack in the middle of the league in terms of strength of schedule. 49.1% for their opponents are 2020. Then we have Trevor Lawrence. We have Shaq Griffin and Marvin Jones Jr. as the notable additions. Now, that's a pretty notable list, and you can't say they are not. However, I'm still going to go under because I just don't think they have a defense here. Like, they definitely don't have a defense. Yeah. But so you look around the league here now, I guess, around this division. The Colts have a defense. The Jags do not. The Texans don't. And the Titans do not. So, I mean, it's not really – all three teams on the bottom of this division aren't going to go under the team total, but I think the Jags probably will. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jags made the right move going out and getting Marvin Jones. I just think they're 2 years away from being a semi-complete team. Their offensive line isn't good. Their defensive unit isn't there. I don't know why they drafted Travis Etienne. I mean, I think they're going to make him a wide receiver. But why, when you have James Robinson, who pops off last year, who's clearly a good running back, let me just use a second-round draft pick to draft my quarterback's favorite guy. Let me just waste a pick. Stupid, just absolutely stupid. And I think the Jaguars win 5 games this year.
That's generous.
If that, and I feel bad because I kind of want to see him. It'd be nice to see the Jaguars win a couple games. They got a good offense. I think T.O. is going to throw for at least 3 tutties a game, but they're going to give up at least 4 or 5. So what's the point?
3 tutties a game. You think he's
that's
50 touchdowns?
That's 51 touchdowns.
Good for him.
But how many weeks into the season do you think we get until people are calling for Urban Meyer to be fired?
I was just about to ask the same thing.
I'm gonna say after the bye week, week 8, when they get curb stomped in Seattle by like 35 points, they're gonna be calling for his head.
Yeah, I think they just go over, and then it's just like, why is this guy?
They're gonna be 2-5 with wins against Houston and Cincy. That's it. And then bye Urban. Not during the season. I think they give him a couple years, but
I like Urban Meyer.
As a college coach.
Exactly. I think what Urban Meyer does, what he did at Utah, what he did at Florida, what he did at Ohio State is among one of the best like college coaches of all time, like up there with the Sabans, with the Bear Bryants, with, you know, whoever you want to put up there. I think Urban Meyer, you know, probably deserves to be, maybe not be up on that echelon, but deserves to be at least in the conversation. I don't know if that translates over to the pros.
One of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like it feels like they're already a circus, bringing in and cutting Tebow. Like that already felt like a sideshow. You know what I mean? So like if their offense feels like college-ish sideshow, I feel like they're gonna get caught, right? And you know that's bad for Trevor Lawrence. You know, it's bad for the development that they have, you know, of guys. And I don't know. I'm stuck between the Jaguars and the Texans right here, because I think one of them is going over and I think one of them is going under, right? And we can get to the Texans later, but like it's just, this is such an ugly division. Give me, how many games did they win last year? 1? The first one?
Yeah, they won the first one and lost every game after that.
So they think that Trevor Lawrence is at least a 5-game difference, a 6 to make their money. Like I don't see it that way. I don't think any rookie quarterback has ever been a 6-win difference, unless he's like, you know, Trevor Lawrence might be the exception, not the rule. But I got to go with the rule. I got to go under here.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
I mean, I think it's a safe pick. I mean, I guess I'll transition us into Houston. I have this itch on my back that I can't seem to scratch that is telling me that Deshaun Watson's going to play this year. How many games? I can't tell you, but there's itch on my back saying that. And I think Deshaun Watson's good for more than, what's their over under 6? 5? I think he's good for at least 5 wins, Deshaun Watson. Granted how bad this team is. I think Deshaun Watson's good for at least 5 W's, or maybe he gets at least 3 or 4 out of them. I recorded under, but I'm going to switch to over because I think, like I said, there's this itch that Deshaun Watson's playing. I can tell you the only other 2 people I can name on that Houston Texans team were Phil Lindsay and David Johnson in the backfield. Everybody else, I couldn't tell you anybody else on that football team because it's just so irrelevant. Just give me the over Houston. Screw it. I guess why not? Give me 6 wins from them and 4 wins from Jacksonville.
We combine those 2 teams and just make the Houston...
I think it would still be bad.
No, I think they'd be.
They would still be bad.
Right.
Yeah, they would still be like a 5-6 win team if you combine.
I started the thought, and then in my mind trickled that like it was just like the TV screen, like you know, haze, where you have just no thoughts. I couldn't think of anybody that would be relevant. I think the Texans
would have no defense at all. Literally, no. I think the Texans are going over. Even if Deshaun Watson doesn't play, I think Ty God can still probably bring you a couple wins.
God, inject me with that Ty God stuff, bro.
Yeah, just not in the lung area. I won't inject you in the lung area, but I got you. I like Ty God. I think whatever they planned on doing with Deshaun Watson, they can probably pull off. I'm not going to say it's going to look pretty. I'm not going to say it's going to be very successful, but I think they can put in the same concepts as they can with Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's another fantasy sleeper for me, but it's definitely not as high as Cam Newton was. Maybe if you need a bye week quarterback, you can put your head down and pray for Ty God. But
yikes.
I think they go over. I don't think they're a good team, but I think the teams in the division are also shit, and I think they probably steal one from each of them. Yeah, I love me some Ty God. So
that's my dog.
He's a baller. He's been great, man.
Listen, Tyrod is just that number 2 guy, that number 2 quarterback that just has all this wisdom. And then let me just go out in the field and just perform average. And let me show you how average I can. Yeah. Let me throw for 185 yards a game. Let me rush for 30. And let me just show you how average I can be. Here you go. Let's do it.
All right, you want to move us on to Tennessee, Sticky? We didn't go. Okay.
I'm keeping the under.
Keeping the under.
They are dog shit at every position outside of quarterback. I don't care. Like, I'm taking both Jags and Texans under. They're both not good teams, and they're both going to win less than 5. Houston, I could see winning only 3 or 4 games. I'm not seeing a lot of wins in here, so I don't care.
All right, I'm with you guys. I'm gonna go under. Well, you at least, Sam. Nick, you went over?
Yeah, I went over.
Just on the off chance that Deshaun Watson beats 28 lawsuits and then still is allowed to play? Okay. It's a waste of money.
Listen, if not, bro, man, like Mano said it.
I got
million.
I don't care. No.
Yeah, they suck.
Mark Ingram is a second string defensive lineman and made it on my notable additions, so they're not very good.
I'm pretty sure he's going to get cut, but
to each his own. I mean,
all right.
Make the defense worse. Cut them. I don't care. All right. Tennessee Titans, 9.5 win total, 20th easiest schedule, 50.7 opponents win percentage in 2020. No notable additions aside from Julio Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's that one dude.
I put Julio Jones on here. I don't know where he went. Somebody's probably messing with me, but I'm going under because
definitely Nick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go under for all the reasons I said before. They don't have a defense. Julio Jones is not enough to take this team to 10 wins. Neither is Derrick Henry. Maybe he can. I'm not gonna doubt anything Derrick Henry wants to do because he'll stiff arm me right in the face and put me on freezing cold takes. But
you said you could tackle him.
You did say
I don't know. I don't know if I said that.
You did say you could tackle him. You said
I don't know.
You did.
No, I don't think so.
I have receipts. I'll find it.
Could you tackle Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry? You said Derrick Henry.
No, that's not. That didn't happen.
We'll see.
What Nick said didn't happen. The conversation most definitely happened, but what Nick said, I wouldn't pick a 24-year-old over being able to tackle Derrick Henry. Like, it's just not possible.
You picked Derrick Henry, so you could tackle Derrick Henry.
No, I would dive at his legs and he would hurdle over me. Like, it's entirely what would happen. But regardless, they're going 9-8 this year, and they're going to cash my ticket. So, who's up?
I think Tennessee's going to win exactly 10 games this year. I think it's going to bite you in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
They won 9 games in 2018, 9 games in 2019, and 11 in 2020. You add an extra game to that, I think that adds an extra chance.
They've never had a defense.
They've never had a defense.
They've never had a defense. Mike Vrabel does enough to put them in like a solid position to like at least, they're not, stopping the leak, but they're putting some like, some mighty putty over it and hoping for the best, and there still might be some little sprinkles in there, but that's kind of stuff you live with for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you figure they put up maybe 17 points in the first half. You got to keep up with that, which isn't easy, but I think they're going to grind out the clock when you have Derrick Henry and Julio Jones and AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, you lose Jonnu Smith at tight end, but how much did they really use him the past couple of years? Not really a lot. I think they're going to win exactly 10 games. I think they're going to go 10-7. I think it's going to suck because you're taking the under and you're going to really hate your life because you're taking the under. And I think what's going to happen is I'm going to laugh in your face. I'm going to say, I'm sorry for you. And that's about it.
Ready for these losses? I'm going to read them off to you. Week 1 at Arizona, or week 1 home against Arizona, week 2 at Seattle, Week 3 versus Indy. They're going to lose versus Buffalo. They're going to lose versus Kansas City. They're going to lose versus Indy again. They're going to lose versus the Rams. They're going to lose.
They're not
versus
going to lose
the
2 to Indy.
Patriots.
They're not
And
gonna lose
Miami and San Fran are tough-ish games at the end of the year. So
they're going to beat Miami. All right, buddy. Hey,
They're going to beat Miami and they're going to beat Arizona.
Yeah.
You're giving Tua 16 weeks to play football at an NFL level.
Yeah, and get beat the
and
hell
then
up.
face a garbage defense in Tennessee.
The garbage offensive line in Miami.
Tennessee plays a couple, potentially offensively challenged teams where they can kind of get away with, not having the strongest defense. Like, we don't know really what Indy's going to be if Wentz is out. Even with Wentz, Houston stinks. New England, I see having offensive problems. Jacksonville, even New Orleans. I mean, I'm a big Jameis guy, but you never really know. So,
God, watch the Jacksonville.
I think they're going to get to 10 wins, so I'll take that over with you, Nick.
Thanks,
Nick.
Nick.
We'll cash our tickets and laugh.
Yes, sir, we will. I'll go like this. I'll be sticky. Look at this. Look at what I got right here, buddy boy.
I like the over as well.
Look what we got here for you, sticky boy.
The only concern I have is a transition from Arthur Smith, who was widely regarded as one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, and rightfully so. I mean, he got a job in Atlanta for a reason. And then they go to Todd Downing, and Todd Downing has, been in Arthur Smith's staff, so I don't think there's going to be much drop off there. But with every individual is their own person. So would Arthur Smith draw up a draw play for Derrick Henry on 3rd and 4, or Todd Downing maybe does like a play action or something like that, and what works, what doesn't. It's all game planning. But first year coach in the same vein as Arthur Smith, I'll take the over here. I think that offense is going to absolutely light up the league.
Do you think I think their offense is good for another win, at least on this over under. That's kind of where I'm at. This offense is good enough for at least another W on it.
Ryan Tannehill, also in my series of underrated fantasy quarterbacks, but that's.
I feel like he's kind of gone past the underrated part.
Oh yeah,
he's getting the respect he deserves more.
Yeah, now he's known.
Mm-hmm. I have this thing where I think Tannehill's going to hit a fucking wall, and I don't know when it's going to be, but I have this bad feeling.
Since he's been in Tennessee, he's been like the 6th or 7th highest, most fantasy points per.
They'll always show you on CBS and look at his stats compared to Mahomes. It's almost the same, but obviously you're not taking him over Mahomes, but the dude puts up decent numbers. So
all right, get out of this division, please.
Yeah, let's go to a very good division.
Last division of the day. We're going to start off with the Denver Broncos. The win total is at 7.5. They have the 5th easiest schedule in the league for 2020. Their opponents for this year have a combined 47.1% opponents win percentage. Key additions, Kyle Fuller coming in at cornerback. I'm going to go over. I think everybody on this team is going to take a step forward. I think Drew Lock is going to take a step forward. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to take a step forward. I think KJ Hamler is finally going to be used the way KJ Hamler should. They don't have Phillip Lindsay anymore, but Melvin Gordon was effectively an insurance policy for that when they got him. Have a really solid defense, and Noah Fant can also take a step forward. So I think in a 17-game season, they can definitely get to 8 wins here. The Raiders have been shaky. The Chargers have been shaky. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're going to lose both games to the Chiefs and then have to freak out 8 wins. So I think they can do it. I think it's a very reasonable number, but just not at week 1 when we're there at MetLife Stadium against the Giants.
Yeah. I'm not with you there. I'm on the under here for Denver because I think Drew Lock is how do I describe it? Dog shit. So, and the defense is very good. They have a very good front seven, solid secondary, some decent weapons around him, but I think Drew Lock is just terrible, and that's going to bite him in the ass. I see it. Look at his schedule. I see, 5 wins off the bat with Cincy, Detroit, Philly. What else we got? And I'd say Vegas. One of the split with Vegas, and then the Jets at home. Outside of that, a lot of tough games. At the Giants will be tough. At Dallas, against Washington. I see them. Can they win 8 of 13 games because I see him losing both to KC and LA.
You think you're gonna lose both to LA?
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Those games are always super
LA.
tight. LA, Denver.
Yeah, I mean, like
I think they play a mile high and they win that game.
yeah, I think it'll be a tough game, but I think I'm big on the Chargers this season, or big on Herbert more than anything. So we'll see, but I'm going under 7.5. I think 7 and 10s are ceiling. So
I think Denver sneaks a couple wins extra this year. There's two possible options for me. I think Drew Lock, if he takes half of a step, I think they're in way better shape than they were last year.
So you think Drew Lock is the everyday starter here? Oh my gosh.
yeah, I'm thinking at some point Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the starting quarterback.
I think it has to be Drew Lock, and I think if it's not Drew Lock and they start Teddy B, they make a move for Deshaun Watson.
See, I think it has
Well,
to be.
that would change my my pick.
And I think the Broncos are so uncertain at quarterback that if they make a move for a big time name like that, I think that increases their chances a whole lot. I think Drew Lock can at least get them at least 6-7 wins this year, and I think he can get them another one in crunch time. And I think their defense can win them a couple games. You have Cortland Sutton coming back from a torn ACL, but
right.
You stick highlighted KJ Hamler, and he looks like, I mean, he's getting a little bit more comfortable. The running back doesn't really concern me at all because it's not like the running back in Denver hasn't really made a difference in the past 5-10 years. I couldn't even tell you the last running back that really made a difference in there. But I think Drew Lock needs to take an extra half of a step forward for this offense to kind of be comfortable. But I think he does that. And I think if he doesn't do that, like we said, if Teddy B starts, you just make a trade, you get whoever you want, and you're better off there. So give me 9 wins this year for the Denver Broncos.
I think Teddy B's got to be the starter. I think they have higher aspirations than 7.5 wins, right? I think, or whatever. I think they think they're a playoff team, right? They have one of the best defenses in the league, right? I'm not going to rank them at this time, but like that's what they've spent their money on. Like it's between like, Von Miller and Bradley Chubb and, the names that they have there are, elite. The thing that's holding this team back is the offense. And I think you can't go out there with that defense and do them the disservice of throwing Drew Lock out there. I think you have to throw Teddy Bridgewater out there because I think he can at least win you a cup. I think he gives you more on Sunday than Drew Lock does. You're raising your hand.
Before you continue, Teddy Bridgewater's been on how many different teams in his career, and he's also torn his ACL. So you think
26, I believe.
So you really think that the team is better off with Teddy Two Gloves, who's been on the Jets and the Panthers and torn his ACL, and who's really just been non-existent the past 5-6 years, is a better option than Drew Lock, who's a younger guy who's got a cannon?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think if their goal is to get the number 1 pick in the draft, or if their goal is to see what they have at quarterback, then absolutely see Drew Lock. But I just think that's a disservice to the defense that they built. They've built, drafted, signed one of the best defenses in the AFC and probably one of the best defenses in the NFL. I think that's enough to win you 5-6 games or something like that. But I think that extra quarterback bump, so you all think the difference between Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater is negligible?
What do you mean negligible?
I see a massive difference.
There's no
I would probably take Teddy.
There is absolutely a difference, and I think Teddy Two Gloves is.
So you think Teddy's worse than Drew Lock?
No, correct. I think Teddy's better than Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
At this point in time, but I think Drew Lock is the correct move to be the starter of this football team.
Mm-hmm. At least to start the season. If he's like actually, atrocious, then you go to Teddy. But I think you got to see at least what you have with Lock.
I think if you're having that conversation now, you might as well go with Teddy. Right? If you're having what is Drew Lock, right? Like if you don't know what Drew Lock is at this point through a year and a half of his career, like then you don't know what he is, right? Then he's probably not anything special. I don't think he can show you anything more in 4, 5, 6, however many games he plays, unless he balls out. And I think it's a little easier if you're trying to make the playoffs, right? And you go Teddy Bridgewater week 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Maybe you go 0-4, right? Then you go to Drew Lock. right? Because at least you stink already, right? You probably have a better chance of fixing your damn quarterback position if you don't win 4 games off the rip or 3 games or, even split. I think they're shooting for the playoffs. I'll go over here. That defense is wild, but I think it's contingent on how, if they start Teddy.
All right. So are we all on the over, but for different reasons at least?
I'm on the under.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, Sammy's on the under, but I think we're on the over for different reasons. I think they try to boost the value of Teddy Bridgewater as a quarterback, maybe to trade him away, or I don't know, whatever. I'm not getting into it because it's irrelevant. The Denver Broncos are irrelevant. It's a shame.
Want to go rapid fire? These last 3, I think these last 3 are pretty easy here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so LA Chargers win total is at 9. Key additions: Corey Linsley played offensive line for Green Bay, and Jared Cook at tight end. I'm going under. They just played way too many close games, and I do not like Anthony Lynn as a head coach.
Yeah, I think Nick's expressing more what I'm
Not the head
thinking.
coach anymore. You don't have to like him. He's not the head coach anymore.
I still don't like the team they have. So
Brandon Staley. That dude's a demon.
yeah, well, that's a damn shame.
Justin Herbert is going to be an MVP candidate this season. I love the addition of Jared Cook. Give him some nice red zone depth there. I think that 9 games is easy. I think this team can win 10, 11, even 12, up to 12 games. I've
thought that the last
Chargers.
couple of years.
I see a big jump this season for the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Over.
Okay, whatever you guys say. All right, Kansas City Chiefs, 12 wins.
Don't even think about it.
They added 2 offensive linemen after getting rid of 2 offensive linemen. I'm going over.
I don't think that there's a single football game this year.
Yeah, I think they could win. I think they could win. They're going to win 14 to 15 games.
You want to give me second-year Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I think that's going to be a huge difference in this offense. And I think that's why they're going.
That's the difference for you, Nick, is the running back on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes,
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What else on that defense?
Mahomes is going to throw for 6,000 yards, 58 touchdowns. He's pissed off, and this team is going to be a wagon. I mean, it's no way to put it. They're going to be the dominant.
Okay, so my only issue with Kansas City is you lose Sammy Watkins. We kind of talked about we talked about the reliability and veteranness that is Sammy Watkins, and now you add the inconsistent Nicole Hardman and slot him in there. McCole Hardman, I think the team's success. I just said Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I think the team's success hinges on McCole Hardman and if McCole Hardman can actually do something this year. Because if McCole Hardman can be a valid number 2 wide receiver, then just forget about it. I think they're going to blow the roof off this pop.
You know who else they have in their backfield? They have a sneaky Jerick McKinnon in their backfield.
Oh.
You mean the same Jerick McKinnon that tore his ACL and whatever you just gave me about Teddy Bridgewater?
I mean,
He's been on 4 teams in 4 years. Come on.
I'm not going to be off topic, but I was so high on Jerick McKinnon before he tore his ACL in San Francisco. I was so
was everybody.
I was so ready for that guy.
So was everybody.
All right, why are you going under? Why do you think why is Kansas City going under?
What
do you get?
That's what Mano does. Mano hears 3 yeses and says no every freaking time.
No, I just I don't think. Let me preface this by saying they're probably the best team in football, right? Or very obviously the best team in football, right? But if I'm gonna get plus money on an under, there's a world where Patrick Mahomes, isn't fully healthy.
It's not
and he
this
misses
one. Oh, okay.
he misses time, right? This division that they're playing in is solid. The Raiders got them last year. There's a world where the Broncos can get them. The Chargers are pretty good this year. I think there's a world where they do win less than 12 games, but can still be regarded as one of the best teams in football. Sometimes you just get got.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of hate the whole point on this. The whole 12 instead of an 11.5 or a 12.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because a 12-5 season is kind of tempting. But
yeah.
Benefit of the doubt to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So give me the extra.
Yeah,
game.
no, I completely agree. And it's not taking the under as in I don't think the Chiefs are as good as everybody says they are. It's an under in which I'm getting plus money. I'm willing to throw a little bit of cheddar on there and
a little bit.
And I'm not praying for a Patrick Mahomes injury because that ain't me, man. That's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. So, but there's a world where he misses time, and that offensive line, even though they've got some additions, it's Joe. Didn't Kyle Long retire last year and then just came back because he wanted to play for the Chiefs? Like,
That's pretty cool. I wish I
would
could
play for the Chiefs. I
definitely would.
But
That'd be pretty sweet.
Mahomes was running for his life in the Super Bowl, and that line gets a little better. I don't know if they get exceptionally better.
That's the Super Bowl,
right? It is one game, but I listen. I'm taking the plus money, not hoping for a Mahomes injury, but I can see a world where it happens.
Yeah, I mean 12 wins is high. That's a high W.
Mm-hmm.
High ceiling right there, kids.
Alrighty. Next one, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. Also the last one. The team total is at 8. They have the 25th easiest schedule, so one of the hardest. Key additions: Yannick Ngakoue, Kenyon Drake, and John Brown. I think where the disconnect is between me and you guys on the Chargers and the Raiders, I think they're flipped. So I think the Raiders are going to be better than the Chargers. Nothing crazy, but
wow.
I'm going over.
Wait, what?
Just kicked Sammy off. Sam, are you wearing shorts? You're wearing shorts.
I'm wearing shorts too, but Stick. What do you?
Suits and shorts, baby.
I'm going over. Look, Derek Carr has had the yips for the last couple of years.
Couple?
He's getting it
Did
back.
you say couple?
It's coming back. They got Kenyon Drake in the backfield along with Josh Jacobs.
Shiver me timbers, Kenyon Drake.
He's good.
Josh Jacobs rushes. He gets like 30 rushes for 80 yards a game. I mean, come on, talk about
exactly.
efficiency.
So you need to lighten the load on Josh Jacobs a little bit. You put Kenyon Drake back there. He's going to be somewhat fine. It's 8 wins. I think all they have to do is go 9-8, one game above 500, and I cash this. It's possible, and I'm going to go over.
I'm with you. I think Derek Carr is in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in this league. I think he's if you look around the landscape.
Now I'm somewhere between like here and here right now.
I think he's one of the better. Look at his numbers, man. Look at what he does.
I'm with you. I think he's going to be fine, but the upper echelon, what is that? The top 5, top 10 quarterbacks?
I mean, look at how many good quarterbacks are in the league?
Okay, his numbers are whatever. What
more
are
than
his
15.
What are his team stats? Are his teams good?
No. I mean,
Okay,
he's
so
never had a good defense.
I don't give a
Not
shit.
bad.
Never had a good defense.
Never
had a good defense. And
He
listen,
still doesn't.
Okay, is his defense any
He still doesn't.
good this year? His defense is even worse.
the organization hasn't done him any favors.
Can you name
right?
one person on that defense?
Charles Woodson.
Yeah, David Arnett, because they shouldn't have drafted David Arnett at like the 16th pick in the draft last year.
Trash. I'm going under Raiders. Are bad. Poor Raiders. They have
Jonathan Abrams.
You guys have no faith.
Is Jonathan Abrams
I have no faith in the
Clelin
Raiders.
Ferrell.
Oh yeah, I forget that was another pick that was questionable at
Man, I was
best.
going back to draft picks. Respect.
They were like 2 years ago. They had 3 of them from the Khalil Mack trade, and they blew all 3 of them with Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Abrams, and Clelin Ferrell.
Josh Jacobs is solid.
All right, yeah, but I don't. You can't draft a running back in the first round. That's just my whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I like Oakland. I think they're gonna be better. I think they can get more out of whatever Nelson Aguilar did last year. I think Henry Ruggs does about like 2 times better this year. So
They have John Ross too.
Yeah.
A little resurgence with the burner.
John Brown,
rather. John Brown. Relax.
John Ross is with the
Relax. I know. Relax.
I've never been able
that
was once a Cardinal.
I mean, I think all right. I could see the Raiders keeping games close, but keeping games close isn't winning.
Exactly. That
Under.
defense is
Precise
problematic.
Situation.
They also have Corey Littleton.
Who?
He used to be a
He was on the Rams.
middle linebacker for the Rams, and then he went to Oakland, and Oakland was like, "Hey, we're gonna drop you back in coverage." And,
Yeah. So LA, one of the best defenses in the league, just let somebody walk.
Yep.
What does that say about your skill set?
I mean, I don't know. Ask Alec Ogletree. I don't know.
And how would Alec? Ask Norris Jenkins too.
Yeah, right.
I'm going under. I don't believe in the Raiders. I think the Raiders can maybe keep it close. I love John Gruden. It's a shame, and I love their new stadium. Their new stadium is fresh.
Looks awesome.
It's fresh, and their jerseys are clean. But jerseys don't get victories. They just get you money. And let me go under because I don't believe.
Tell that to Oregon in like the early 2010s.
That's
Their
too
jerseys
late.
get
It's
victories.
way too late for me to tell Oregon they're already passed. So I could tell Oregon, but they're going to say, I know that happened 10 years ago. All right.
All right, Stick, take us home, homie.
Yeah,
we
buddy.
somehow we did it. We made it through the AFC episode of our win totals. Next week we're going to give you the NFC. Honestly, I looked at the calendar. It's probably going to be quicker than week after week after week because we are not going to be able to fit it in before we have to film for week 1. So I don't know. We'll figure it out, but stay on the lookout. And the way you're going to stay on the lookout is you're going to follow us on Twitter at capsON Sports, Instagram at capsON Sports, TikTok at capsON Sports, even though I don't know. TikToks are tough to post because you have to do a completely different format. And also, we're a lot busier than we were last season. So, regardless, this has been fun to be back. But, yeah, stay tuned. I don't know what Nick's doing. But
Difficulties. Some set issues. Until next week.